As I understand more about politics, I stopped blaming the leaders. I started blaming the huge bureaucratic system behind the government, which became bigger than any face. It's not about the faces, it's just puppets. They don't really matter.
In your campaign, you mentioned having little knowledge about politics or the EU.
Not little knowledge. I said I don't know nothing. I was sick of the established political system. I never voted in my entire life and I wanted to change things. But in a way, I've discovered a love for politics. I love the European Union. I think it's a successful peace project, but I don't like so many things, because when you love something, you want to change it. I don't like that we're fighting wars now. We became warmongers, have double standards with Palestine. And if you see the geopolitics, the EU, instead of cooperating with everyone, with China, with Russia, with the United States, we do whatever the United States wants, which is divide and rule. They provoke the war in Ukraine. The Americans divide us. They make weaker Russia. They make weaker the European Union, and now Europeans were buying the weapons of the fucking Americans.
What are your views on immigration?
Well, immigration is a very hard topic. Hello?
Hello.
I'll just make a small introduction. So, you, as I understand, are doing as your master's, diploma, research. Explain us what you are doing.
I'm already a political scientist, so I'm done with my PhD dissertation, everything.
Okay.
So I'm teaching in the US at William and Mary, the university, and I'm doing a research on you. So that's why I'm here.
Okay, and you have a Turkish Cypriot origins.
Actually, I'm originally from Turkey, but I'm married to a Turkish Cypriot.
Okay.
I consider Cyprus as my home, although right now I'm based in the US.
Okay, so that's why you have a special interest on this.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Let's do it.
Okay. So I will start with your political motivation and political identity. My first question is, why did you decide to enter politics?
It's a combination of two things, maybe three things. By the way, I'm aware that whenever we try to speak about the past, maybe because we have our own bias and we experience things in a different way, and maybe our memory doesn't help us, maybe I will do a lot of mistakes recalling from the past, because maybe I didn't read the situation correctly when I'm going to narrate now what was my motivation. Maybe I didn't understand my motivation. So it's important for me to explain that whenever we talk about the past, it's a difficult thing. And like all these successful people that they give advices to the people, and they say, oh, your morning routine is very important. I think they forget about what's the real thing that took them there, and they just make stories in their head. So probably I will do the same, because it's very difficult to know exactly the answers to the questions when you're talking about the past. So what was my motivation to do politics? It was a combination, I think, of three things. The three things was, first, that I was sick of the established political system. I never voted in my entire life. I didn't register to vote. I didn't care about politics. And like most people, I think, in Cyprus, were tired of this lying and ties and the wooden language that they speak to us, that they know we're stupid, they think we're stupid, the politicians and all this stuff. So I wanted to change things. The second, it was for fun. Fun is a very important part of my life and to my decision making, because whenever something it's interesting to you, and fun, not in I want to go to club and all this stuff. Fun in an intellectual way, in an interesting way, experimental way. So I sensed that this will be a fun journey. And like to have a lot. I will learn a lot of different things. From the experience, I will become a better person, and on the way, I will help. And the third thing is for my goal kind of in life and the expectations that I have from myself is to be useful to the world. So I thought that even if I fail, even if I succeeded, it was going to be useful because it was going to be a good case study. If I succeeded, political scientists will see and study this phenomenon, or other people would be inspired that they wouldn't try politics before. And like I had a big sense of responsibility because like when you have like millions of followers and people watch you and all this stuff, because I had that from before, it's like you feel more the sense, I think, of that you have power to change things. So I said, if I have one of the biggest pages in Cyprus, if I don't try to change things, then who will try? So yeah, it was a combination of everything of this. But it was important for me to state that running to be elected as the member of the European Parliament as an independent, and from the start, I knew that my chances were 2-3%, because never a person got elected as an independent in the history of Cyprus. So I knew that it will not happen probably. But still, I did it because even if the odds are against you, if the thing that you're trying to do is very important, I think you should try to do it.
Okay. So what are your main political goals or priorities?
Well, they are shifting and changing. Because when you don't know how the game works, when you don't know how the rules of the game work, you cannot have any goals. So it's like you are asking me, what is your goal with playing chess, and you don't know the rules of chess? So my priority the last year was for me to understand how politics work, because you cannot change and put goals if they are not based on reality. So, I also feel this kind of putting goals in general and priorities. It's a bit not the mindset that I have in my life in general. Because there is a scientist that I followed, and he said this and changed kind of my whole perspective. And this is how also kind of I chose to run as a politician. Going back to the first question, I try in my life to not put any goals, to just do whatever is interesting at the moment, whatever is I find most interesting for me to be doing at the moment. Because whenever you are interested and intrinsically inside you, you are going to be a lot more effective, be a lot more excited, come up with. So if you don't like what you're doing, or if you are not interested in the topic, you are not going to perform. So I just try to focus on things that I am interested. So there is a lot of things that I've been interested through the entire journey. It's more transparency, to show what is happening inside, behind closed doors, and generally more transparency. There is a lot of things that I can start labeling you. One of my goals is to put, it's a bit technical in the European Parliament, but to make everyone, whenever they vote in the European Parliament, for them to be roll call vote, for everyone to know what they are voting, because now they only choose some votes to be visible to the people. So I don't like this, that there is no transparency on all this stuff. Or there is these foreclosures things that we did for Cyprus, or there is a lot of topics that spark my interest. Like, for example, now with the fires, I want to do stuff in the European Parliament with the fires. And also, I want to kind of explain you kind of because I read that your thing is populism, populism, which is an interesting way. populism, I don't know if it's a negative or a positive word sometimes. So anyway, I will give you an example with what happened with the fires for me to touch on kind of how I see goals, for example. The night we had fires here, big fire here in Cyprus. And that night I went immediately. I tried to find people to understand what is happening. I didn't know anything about fires and all this stuff. I went to the people the police and all this stuff, that they were arranging the fire, how to prevent it and all this stuff. And I started asking questions. I asked like how I can be useful. And I asked a lot of people, and the answer that I got is like, tomorrow we're going to have a lot of people that they will not have homes. So, okay, I made immediately a video, and I found with the video, like it was watched 1 million times, and I asked people, can you help us find homes located closely in Limassol for these displaced people? And we found 50 people for them to stay in homes the next days, and probably some people still stay until they fix their home. So that's kind of an example. You can say populism, that I went there. It was also politically profitable, but I didn't want to I didn't do it for a political reason. I did it because I wanted to help. This says that I want to help. And like the next days, everyone was making videos, and they were not videos. They were going to the TV, all these politicians, they were going there to the place, and they were saying, we're just here to not interrupt the mission, what is happening. So who is the populist here? Them, that they are doing, going to play political games to throw responsibilities, or me that I just did a video to help. So sometimes but if you understand also how social media works, a lot of the times the only way to hit the big audiences is to simplify the message and to make it simple for everyone to understand.
We will come to that. We will come to the role of social media. So, who do you feel you represent in Cyprus society? How would you describe your voter base?
Well, I don't know. It's very difficult for me to understand. It's like one of those things that I can estimate, and like, what is the truth? We don't know. But I feel I'm representing the people that are mad with the system in general, mad with whatever the current situation is, that they want more transparency, a different way of doing politics. Yeah.
Okay. And what distinguishes you from other politicians in Cyprus?
Well,
I know a lot, but I want to hear from you.
I don't want to. I'd never get into this game of saying I'm better than them because of this and this. I ran all my political play trying. Sometimes you need to say bad things about the leader of the country, for example, because they did a mistake, or the leader of the European Union. But I tried to not play this game who I'm better and they are bad, or I am. So I don't want to be in that game. I don't want to distinguish. I think the people will distinguish and do their decisions. I don't want to. But I think the big thing is that social media, I know how to play the social media better than anyone, I would say.
Okay. During your campaign, you mentioned having little knowledge about politics or the EU. How do you view this
Not
now?
little knowledge. I said I don't know nothing.
So how do you view this now? I mean, have you learned a lot in the meanwhile? And your lack of knowledge, did it work as a limitation or as a strength as a politician?
Always, the lack of knowledge can be useful because whenever you don't have the lack of knowledge, you are not going to be naive to try things. So if I knew what was going to wait for me, it was going to be, oh my God. So, but because I'm always optimistic and naive, I say that everything will be easy, and so yeah, lack of knowledge, it can be a good tool sometimes for you to do stuff, but I don't feel I know anything yet. It's very complicated. Politics is very complicated. The system is so big, bureaucracy and all this stuff, how countries work with anarchic system. But I think I got the big picture. I got the big picture of how politics work. So that's, but there is so much learning that I'm not comfortable to say I learned a lot of things.
Okay. And how would you describe your approach to politics given your non-traditional background as a politician?
What do you mean?
So how should politics be done, for instance? Or, what should it be
How
for?
should politics be done?
Yeah.
Well, that's a big question. So, one of my attempts, and that's kind of another motivation that I have, is we want to reinvent or rethink democracy. So I don't know what I want it to be, but I don't think Steve Jobs, I don't say I'm Steve Jobs or something, but I don't think Steve Jobs, when he tried to do the iPhone, knew exactly what to do. It was a lot of years of trial and error and all this stuff. So I think a lot of years of trial and error, this is how innovation works. So I want to try a lot of different things, see what it works, and the things that work to replicate and do more and try to see what is effective also for the society. So I don't know. The process of figuring it out with trial and error is the answer.
And how have you changed since becoming a member of the European Parliament? You said, for instance, you were very optimistic without knowing anything. So are you as optimistic or less optimistic now or anything else?
I'm very optimistic. I'm very optimistic always. And I think that I think I changed because I was doing stupid YouTube videos before, but I was and being a clown to get views. But it was also some things that I felt passion for. Like, for example, I was traveling to countries for free, and the sense of responsibility was that to show the kindness of people, that they stopped, they put me in their houses. I did a video that I didn't eat food for 30 days and I only drank water. And I was thinking, okay, if someone is not eating for they're trying to lose weight, they will always think about me when they eat food, and they are thinking, I will die if I don't eat one day food. And it will help them, motivate them to lose some weight or something. So I was always doing things with sense of purpose in a way, but it was very different. But I always, since I was 17, 18, I was always seeing scientists, podcasts, reading books, and all this stuff to understand about everything: politics, science, history, philosophy, quantum mechanics, and all these interesting ideas. If we're living in a simulation, these existential questions where is God? Does God exist? And all this stuff. So I don't think I changed fundamentally as a person, to be honest. It was always kind of an intellectual side of me, but I didn't show it to the people because I was showing more entertainment. So, but in a way, I discovered a love for politics. Politics is a very beautiful thing. In a way, I feel it's a very beautiful thing. It's very weird how we organize the society. Every 5 years, everyone goes to vote and they choose you or some other people. It's very interesting. So I discovered and to represent them and to do good work for the society And yeah, and it's also because it involves a lot of videos as well. It's like a combination of both worlds of my past and politics. So it's yeah, I discovered a love for politics, the change.
Okay. How do you evaluate the current state of politics in Cyprus?
What? How do I
Evaluate the current state of politics?
How do I think about the current state of politics? Well, you know, as I understand more about politics, I stopped blaming the leaders. I started blaming the huge bureaucratic system behind the government, which became bigger than any phase. So, and also it's in the European Union, the same things. So it's a lot of bureaucrats kind of taking bigger decisions than elected officials. So, and we don't know what's their motivation. We don't know who's paying them. We don't know why they're doing it. And like we have like 70,000 government employees here in Cyprus. It's a big. Also, we have 70,000 government employees in the whole EU. So it's a big number. So yeah, I think that we need to attack this bureaucratic system to reduce inefficiencies, to be more effective. And I think, a president is capable to change a lot of things in Cyprus. So in a way, I blame always the person leading that is not doing as much change as we want. So he's not doing everything horrible. The president, sometimes his choices on foreign policy. I think he understands foreign policy. But anyways, it's not time but I think we need to attack the bureaucratic system. That's the essence of what I don't like about politics. It's not about the faces. It's just puppets. They don't really matter. Even parliament members, it's just puppets of the people behind the secret rooms running things, which sometimes maybe is not something evil. It's just the chaos of the bureaucratic system that is not managed. It's like someone is pulling from one side, other side. It's like it's taking us to directions that we don't really want to go because there is a lot of pulling from the bureaucratic system.
Okay. And what is your opinion of the existing political parties in Cyprus? Do you feel closer to any of them? Did you feel close to any of them?
No, I didn't feel close to any of them. When I was maybe 15, 16, because my brother was voted one time with Elam. So I felt closely as you look up to your brother because he's 7 years older than me. And like I was a copycat, let's say. I was wearing his clothes. I was just saying I also like Elam because my brother liked it without me questioning. But after becoming 16, 17, I started not liking so many things that they are doing. So there is no political party that is close to me at all. But now with the new political parties, there is some good attempts, I think, of the young people to do something with the Volt party, but not a fan of the big political groups. They don't have even a seat they're not even elected yet, the Volt party, so they don't matter yet. Yeah.
Okay. What are your views on the Cypriot judiciary?
What judiciary means?
Justice system.
I don't know enough, but I know that some stats that take one in the country that takes the most time to take decisions in court. So probably not very good. But I don't know enough about this topic to have an opinion.
Okay. And how would you describe the role and effectiveness of the Cypriot bureaucracy in general? So you have ideas on that, the bureaucracy.
Say again, how
would you describe the role and effectiveness of the Cypriot bureaucracy?
The Cypriot bureaucracy. I explained you before. Like, I think this is the problem. Like, there is, first of all, to have the chance to have a job for a lifetime and to not be able to be fired. I think it's a problem, because now imagine there is a lot of people go to work in the government and they just take papers from one office to the other, and like they paid salaries, and like, you can. And also there is so many things that can be automated now with ChatGPT and so much information and all this stuff to make everything online, and like to even speak like we can discuss later about the future of politics. It's very exciting, but like there is so much room because the system is so inefficient. So there is so much room for efficiency. Because I was running a business before this. I was making a lot of money on YouTube, and I had a lot of people working with me. So I'm used to efficiency. So when I see these inefficient systems, like the people that work for the team is the most important thing. So if they are not good, or there is people that like they're horrible in this government system, and they do drug use, and they are fighting with officers, and like they are so much pain in the ass and you cannot fire them. So it's like teachers that they are horrible and you cannot fire them. So this kind of system, it's with not only firing, but the bureaucracy of like the papers. There is years that for you to get the license for the house. One person was saying to me that Lauris actually was telling me that that's why we're here, by the way, because he told me to do the interview, so that's why we're here. Anyways, so he told me that for his polyotomiki άδεια, is like house certificate or something. He requested for many years, for 20 years, to get his license. And then he did a meeting at some point after 20 years with the municipality representative. And he told him, it's been 20 years. What happened with this? Just a question he asked him. And the person said, come, let's have a meeting in my office. And then he said to him that, you see this big pile of papers, when you sent it, but you didn't call back to ask what happened with it. But other people came, they asked their friends to push pressure on us, and we always put priority to the people putting pressure. So this, because you didn't put pressure for 20 years, you don't have the license. So if you did call us, we're going to give it to you. So this is the problem. Like, it's just whoever you know to put pressure, and like people that they don't know. So yeah, there is a lot of these kinds of things that they need to be improved. But like, it needs a person with balls to attack the system, because all these people, the system and the bureaucracy will fight back, because all these people are getting paid. All these people they will resistance to change. So they need a person that has the guts to go against this, which it's an interesting.
Okay. In your view, who holds real political power in Cyprus?
Oh, the president, I think. And potentially the leaders of the big political parties, like AKL and DC. And maybe sometimes the kingsmaker, which is sometimes Diko or Elam. So, but the biggest power is the president. So,
what about the rich people? Do you think they are more powerful than these politicians?
So the rich people is a problem that I have with democracy as well. I like what Bernie Sanders is saying in the United States. It's like he says that there is all these rich people spending their millions, which they're billionaires, supporting Trump or Democrat Kamala Harris or something. And they, like, I have friends that they're billionaires and they told me here in Cyprus, okay, this is what I do. I go to the politician, the president maybe, and I tell them, I will give you 50,000 and then this is your primary policy. So that you're going to say. And these politicians, they don't have any alternative because they believe that the money will help them to get elected and because they feel that they should be elected because they are the best. They take the money and they run with the policy that the person gave the money requested. So, yeah, I think we should stop receiving money from rich people as donations. Because also this is the problem also with democracies. Like Plato said, or Aristotle said, I'm not sure which one is. They said the problem with democracy is that everyone is trying to lobby for. Everyone is voting based on their incentives. So, yeah, it's difficult and some people are like these billionaires are going to vote and do stuff for their incentives. So they're more powerful but I don't know. This is some stuff that I was aware. I don't know how much of a big role they play in Cyprus because I was not aware. I'm not in the system that much in Cyprus to know how the mechanism works. But are some stories. And if you know how things work, like you connect them. That's why I told you before, like the big picture that I have, and now I'm like getting to understand a lot of things, like a puzzle. When you have, okay, now I have some puzzles here and there, and it's like I see the big picture, but I need to put some pieces and all this stuff to connect all the puzzle.
Okay. So what are your thoughts on the European Union as an institution?
I love the European Union. European Union is kind of a peace project. It started after World War II as a peace project for countries not to fight. And I think it's a successful peace project. Like Germany and France are not fighting anymore. And and also if you see things on a global scale, China, United States, Russia, potentially India are becoming superpowers. So the only way to matter and to have leverage for negotiations, for deals, for them to be afraid of us in a way, because this is how it works. We're living in an anarchic world. It's not, countries are not good. They're just fighting for their interests. So the only way to matter is as a whole, together. So I feel that the European Union is a big success project, but now it's time. I don't like so many things, because when you love something, you want to change it. I don't like that we're fighting wars now. We became warmongers now with the war in Ukraine. We don't have double standards. The same with Palestine, and there's so many bad things. Bureaucracy, the vaccine situation, the leader of Um, there is a lot of problems, but as a whole, I think it's good. Europe is healthy, and also so for Cyprus. Cyprus without the EU will not be as powerful.
What is your opinion of the European Parliament?
Well, it's an interesting institution. We are the only elected European officials, which is very, very interesting. Okay, also the presidents of countries and all this stuff, but there is so many people that run EU that are not elected. But anyway, so there is a lot of work that happens in the European Parliament. There is a lot of clever people. I don't have any power in the European Parliament. The power comes with the majority, like every parliament. And the big political groups control the narrative and what they're doing. So I cannot change a lot of things. But to be honest, media became the big powers now. Who controls the media is who controls the narrative. It's who controls the votes, who controls a lot of things. And the one thing that politicians care is the votes. So I think even though I'm one person in the European Parliament out of 720, my sense is that I'm very powerful in the European Parliament because of these videos. We got 3 billion views so far in the European Parliament making all these videos. So I became a big part of the communication of what is the European Parliament. So with trust of the people comes power inside the Parliament, because people want politics about give and take. Now people know me, they want to collaborate with me, they want to create a political group with me in the European Parliament, they want to do stuff with me, they don't want to be exposed by me. So, and a lot of the things that I do, I'm told by some friends that they are discussing the biggest high-level politics in the European Union, which is the commissioners and all this stuff. So it was a bit weird for a stupid kid that is 25 years old to make a bit chaos inside the EU politics. But it's fun.
Then why have you chosen not to affiliate with any group or party within the European Parliament?
Because I like my independence. I don't like anyone to tell me what to do. And also, imagine people like me because they trust me, that I don't have any political agenda to pass to them, that there's a political group behind me, or I'm restricted in a way of form. So I think people like this, that they know that there is not someone behind controlling me, a political group, or censoring me and all this stuff. So people also voted for me in Cyprus not to be elected in any affiliated with any political group, also in Cyprus, also in the European Parliament, which I believe direct democracy is an important part of what I do, but we can discuss that later. But
okay, so what do you see as the most urgent issues facing Cyprus and the EU today?
The EU, we are in a war with Russia, and generally being in a war is not very helpful for countries. So it's destroying a lot of... and if you see the geopolitics, actually, we have a rising power, which is now China. We have United States, which is the current hegemony, big power. And we have Russia as the third military power in the world. Europe is not inside because we are divided. We don't have a common army. We don't have all this stuff. So the thing that we achieve is, instead of cooperating with everyone, trying to cooperate with China, with Russia, with the United States, we do whatever the United States wants us, kind of, which is divide and rule. They provoke the war in Ukraine, and now we are Europeans in the war with Russia, with the proxy war of Ukraine. We're sending money, we're helping in any way possible, and we're buying the weapons of the fucking Americans. So the Americans here divide us. They make weaker Russia. They make weaker the European Union. We suffer because also Germany and all this stuff, the gas that was coming, it became a lot more expensive. The Nord Stream that was coming through Russia and all this stuff. So I think we are suffering. Also, I think the biggest problem, and that's one of the biggest problems of the EU. The other bigger problem is that we don't utilize the AI revolution. There is not a lot or at all AI companies rising from Europe. And I feel this is the biggest competition now in the world, and maybe the last competition that the countries will have, because we don't know where it will take us, to what situation, an AI superpower and all this stuff, AGI or something like this. So yeah, we're very behind on this. So I think these are the two biggest problems of Europe right now. A lot of other things, like we need to fight with energy, make cheaper energy and all this stuff, but like they're coming, I think, secondary and third.
For Cyprus?
For Cyprus, the truth is that I don't know. Because I've been focused on the European politics. And for Cyprus, I need to understand a lot of things to say with confidence. I can't just say here, okay, it's the Cyprus problem, solve the Cyprus problem, or needs to use AI or to attack bureaucracy or to become energy independent, but I don't have the clear picture of things, so I don't want to comment on this. Which, to be honest, I'm very proud of, to say I don't know.
Okay. But do you know how you can contribute or plan to contribute to any of the challenges you mentioned, at least for European Union?
Yes. I'm creating a political party in Europe, a political group in European Union. Now we are 25 members. I'm not creating it by myself. There is a lot of other people that we're creating it together. And it's about peace group that we will stop fighting the wars that we are doing. That's the major thing that unites us. So I am doing things to change this. Well, the other thing about AI is difficult. I am making speeches and all this stuff about AI to raise awareness, but without power and not a lot of people understand this. So it's not something very politicized yet, the AI. So it's difficult even to convince other people to, but I should try more, to be honest, to put EU in a better spot in the AI race.
Okay. So what's your stance on the Cyprus problem?
I decided to not have stance about anything. Because when you have stance, is that you are not open to something. And in the European Parliament, I vote based on a text. So give me the text and I will tell you. So a lot of the times, like, for example, the Crown Montana was different than 2004, what was agreed. So I try not to, hence, like, I want to be open and to be easily flexible. So I try not to have stance on anything. Just give me, if you want me to have stance, give me the text and I will say yes, no, or abstention. Or I will say I agree, or change, do amendments to it and all this stuff. So it depends basically on the text that you want. Because the Cyprus problem is and I'm not in a position to write now myself a manifest on how it should be solved. So it depends on a lot of things, on the text actually that is going to be agreed.
Okay. Do you believe a solution is possible?
I think we'll have a 5% chance. But I had a 3% chance of getting elected as a member of the European Union. I don't know, I have something weird about me that I always make it against the odds. So when I went to the army, I was in the Navy SEAL part of the army. So it was 10% chance of being successful to finish the training. Then it was me becoming a YouTuber with English following. It was maybe 2-3% chance of success. And now with getting elected, it was 2-3 chance of success, percentage point. So I don't know. But 5% doesn't scare me.
And how do you view Turkish Cypriots? Have your views changed over time?
Well, when I grew up, like every kid, not every kid, most of the kids, the society failed me to hate the Turkish Cypriots, to wish, think things in football, like bad things, they need to be dead and all these bullshits. So, but after I became 17, 18, I started questioning things. I started traveling and seeing that we're not the center of the world, and like meeting some people and to see that they are not bad and all this stuff. And I also started understanding a bit the history and like that they don't tell us the full story here. They just tell us what happened in 1974, which it's invasion, but there is a lot of things that led to this invasion. Not that they justify the invasion, but I needed to know the full story of when it started in 1955, what happened, and 1960 with the thing that Cyprus was established as a country. What was the agreement? Why in 1963? What happened and all this stuff. So, yeah, I love Turkish Cypriots as I love every person in this world. And maybe people will kill me as well. And I love Turkish people as well. Because I think it's not about the people, it's about the country, policies and all this stuff, which I don't really take personally because it's like every country is fighting for their own survival. And if you understand the game, it's an anarchic system of countries. So it's like, yeah, there is. If you really understand the mechanics, like you cannot be mad at a Turkish person like you that because their country took 50 years ago one decision, like why for me to hate you? It's a painful thing that I think Cyprus is suffering also, and like a lot of people from Turkey are coming to Cyprus and like they are living here without kind of it's a sensitive topic, and whenever I speak about this, it's not something usually a populist speaks about things that they have politically are profitable for him, right? So for me to say all this stuff and do a podcast with Ersin Dadar, do a hug with a Turkish Cypriot friend of mine to symbolize that we need to forgive each other, this was not politically profitable for me, to be honest. So, and I knew that. And there is a lot of things that I do that they are not politically profitable. So in a way, I consider myself a populist of simplifying the message for everyone to consume it. But I don't think I'm a populist in a way that I say the thing that people want to hear, and I don't. I say what I believe.
Now the social media questions. So how do you evaluate the role of various media in politics? It can be social media or traditional media.
I'm confused.
How do you evaluate the role of various kinds of media in politics?
Well, have a big role. But now, power is not to the hands of some people controlling the media. It's to the regular people, because anyone can upload on the TikTok and make videos about their message. And my show that I have in Cyprus, the podcast, gets more views than all the TV stuff shows in numbers. So I think we became the media now. So, and I'm happy because it's decentralized. It's not someone controlling the narrative. It's people. I can make videos. Someone can make videos about why I'm wrong. And there's a lot of people that do, and I'm very happy about it. And like, it's not only 3-4 TV stations, and we don't know who controls them, who is paying for their advertisement, who is behind the political party and all this stuff. These are not conspiracy theories. These are things that are happening. So, yeah, I'm happy that the decentralization of media is happening. And like, I'm an evidence to this.
One question I skipped, sorry, so I'm returning. What are your views on immigration and the presence of immigrants in Cyprus?
Well, immigration is a very hard topic. The question that I have about immigration is not about if illegal immigration is not good. I think everyone can agree on this. That's a different thing of asylum seekers and all this stuff. But some people even don't agree with illegal immigration. Some people like illegal immigration. Yeah, it's not something that everyone agrees. I'm sorry. But the question is, what's the percentage that we want to take on foreigners in our country? Because if we, it's definitely not, it shouldn't be 100%, because if we took Cyprus and we removed the people and we brought Italians here, it stopped being Cyprus. It's basically Italy, because they have different tradition, different language, all this stuff. So the question is, what's the percentage that is healthy for a country to have? And for each country is different, because they have different tolerances, they have different things. So maybe for some immigration, because some people can be healthy to the economy, to Cyprus, maybe they can learn Greek as well and all this stuff. But yeah, I'm not for open borders. So it depends also in the issue. I talked to you about the philosophical thing, but you need to tell me exactly what. Give me the text. What are we voting? Are we voting about more people to get asylums? Are we voting more strict regulations of the actual people to get asylums that they actually need it? Are we voting on more flexible borders, not harsh? So it depends on what are we talking about. That's why I told you I don't have any policy. Let's speak about the actual thing. Describe me the entire picture, and then give me some time to say yes, no, or potential, or what I will change.
Okay. So going back to social media. So what role does social media play in your political strategy and political communication?
What a role. They play their role. Everything is about social media. My political strategy, my political communication, and like, it's not something. People think that I only care about views, but to be honest, guys, all the members of the European Parliament spend maybe bigger amounts of money for their political communication. But because they are dumb and they are not effective, and they hire people that write in the newspapers to help them. But I'm just, because that's my work, that's what I've been doing for my entire life, to get attention on social media, I know how to do it. So everyone, and it's not that I spend my entire life on filming. I spend only like maximum 10 hours a week to get all these millions of views. So I set up a team. I don't do a lot of the things. So it's basically, I'm effective in communication. And if you ask any politician, if with 10 hours of their week, and also like less than half of the budget of the EU to get all this exposure, that less of the budget that we are allowed in the half of the budget to get all this exposure, everyone will say yes. So I'm just doing it effective. So yeah, that's the answer. It's a big part. Like I will tell you kind of a joke, a semi-joke. Politicians are not trying to influence the public opinion to their with their ideas. You should answer now, yes or not. Every politician is trying to influence the public opinion for their ideas, right? Okay. I just found a way to do it very effectively, which I'm not trying to control the public opinion. I'm just informing the public opinion. Sometimes I have to say something and I want to make people believe what I believe because I believe it. But like I do a podcast, for example, like what we do now with Cypriot people, with Greek-speaking people. And we talk about the history of Cyprus, about what happened in 1974, about what happened, and bring both of the sides, one of the more patriotic side and one more to the closer to solution side. And we sit down and debate here and here, both of the sides. And it's a master class on how to influence the world with the ideas. Because we do it with, for example, if I choose to bring a person about the Cyprus problem, we bring them here and like 80,000, 100,000 people will sit down and listen for 30, 40 minutes, sometimes 2 hours, 3 hours, and they will listen about this, about what's the history. So it's the best way to influence people. And then we are going to cut down shorts, a 5-minute thing. So this conversation that will have 100,000 views, then we're going to cut it down to some clips and short form content, basically with what the ideas of that person are. And we're going to get like 1, 2, 3 million views in combined. So basically all the Cypriots, like 60%, 70% of the Cypriots will watch it. How powerful is this to influence the people? And it's not really me influencing them. I feel that I'm informing them. So this is my role of informing. But it's a lot of people, they make fun of social media, they make fun of me, but I think this is the biggest thing that moves the needle in politics. People in a long form conversations and then you can touch on topics, people will listen to them for hours, and then they will think of them, they will discuss them with their families, and this is how you change people's opinion, question their beliefs, and this is how you kind of influence kind of the opinion of people.
How do you evaluate your relationship between you and your constituents on social media? You mentioned you inform people. Do you also get information from them? I mean, is it an interactive relationship?
It's a very interactive relationship, and that's the only, like, when you have it, when you watch TV, you cannot speak, you cannot do a response. But on social media, you can respond, you can do a video, you can write a comments. If you see my video, they have thousands of comments, especially about when it's about the Cyprus problem, because it's very sensitive. So yeah, it's a very interactive relationship, and that's why they feel like, if you walk with me on the streets, you will see that I'm not a politician, I'm a celebrity. People want to open up, they want to tell me their problems, but also, like yesterday, I went outside with my fiancée, and like, I had 100 people come to me in one day to tell me about, some people were telling me about their problem of foreclosure. Some people, they were telling me about their problem of something else. Some people, they were opening up that they want me to continue. Some people, they are open up like, I love what you do, but I hate this thing that you did about the Cyprus problem. Or it's like a very beautiful relationship. I never saw any politician in Cyprus that has this kind of special relationship, because I knew that I have connection with people before, but now it's about a different kind of connection. Also their friend, but also the person that can solve their problems, which is an interesting dynamic in the relationship, because I was just their friend when I was a celebrity, kind of. Yeah. Yeah, my girlfriend also is, my fiancé is angry when I say that I'm a celebrity, but yeah, I try not to be so arrogant sometimes, but sometimes it's inevitable.
Do you read all the comments in your...
I read a lot of the comments because I like to get feedback, not all the comments. And I don't know, it's an interesting fact. If you get my phone, I don't have social media on. I think social media are very toxic. I don't want, they are very, get your attention so much. It's like fighting with the biggest people in the world, cleverest people, that they design the algorithms to get your attention. So I don't have Instagram, I don't have Facebook, I don't have TikTok, the only thing that I have in my phone is YouTube, just to watch some YouTube videos, podcasts for information. So yeah, I don't spend that. I have my team, they upload the videos. Sometimes I go on my PC and I see 3-4 times a week the comments. I read for 1-2 hours. So yeah, I'm not addicted, and I just use them as tool.
And how do you evaluate people who haven't voted for you to interact with you based on your various social media platforms? Because many people still, I mean, especially older people, are not on social media, for instance. So how do you
what's the question?
interact with them? How do you
how I interact with older people? Yeah, older people get on Facebook. I have 100,000 followers on Facebook, so I think I'm doing okay with connecting with older people on Facebook. You cannot reach everyone. Sometimes traditional TVs are okay but I think it's just a not for everyone, but there is a 50% of the older people that whatever I do, just because I wear a dark t-shirt, they will never listen to me, and they will say that I'm a mature, stupid person. So it's something that, or the way that I speak very simple and I don't use complicated words and all this stuff, or the lack of knowledge sometimes that I have. So whatever I do sometimes, because of the mindset of the older people, I will never win them. And that's okay. I have the majority of the younger people. It's okay with me. Still arrogant.
Which platform do you think allows for greater discussion regarding political or other matters?
Say again?
Which platform do you think allows for greater discussion regarding political issues or other matters?
Greater discussion. it's difficult to define what greater discussion means, but I can comment without understanding. So I think the biggest platform in Cyprus is TikTok. It's the most effective platform. Live streams became a big way to connect with people, because when you are live and people are watching you in the same time, it's like a different kind of connection. X, I use it a lot in communication politics in English, about the EU politics, not that much in Cyprus. But also Facebook, Instagram, all these platforms are like the same caliber, but I feel that TikTok is the dominant power, that if I had to choose one platform to do my message, either it was going to be a long form podcast or TikTok page. These are the two powerful.
Let's assume that you want to discuss Cyprus problem. So how would you do that? I mean, what would you use? Any of these platforms or face-to-face discussions?
The Cyprus problem, I already discussed it so many times online. So it's, Cyprus problem has so many aspects on it. Like, for example, I interviewed the two negotiators, the Cyprus problem, Ozdil Namin and Mavroyannis. And that was interesting. Like, I'm discussing the Cyprus problem, and then I cut a lot of clips and I spark a discussion. And it's like, I want you to understand like what is happening right now with I'm doing a 2-hour conversation. I did like, let's say 20 podcasts on the Cyprus problem, and which about the history or something like, let's say 20 podcasts about the Cyprus problem. And out of these 20 podcasts, we had 5 shorts about so it's like 20 podcasts with 5 shorts. So let's say 100 videos. Yeah, 100 videos. So we have 100 videos about the Cyprus problem that I uploaded, that they got average 300 comments each. Maybe 200, sometimes 2,000, sometimes let's say 300 comments each. Big comments about writing their life story, their arguments, and they write to each one. So about 100 videos with 300 comments. So let's say 30,000 people, 30,000, let's say half, 15,000 people engage to a debate in the comments about the Cyprus problem. And all these people, they maybe saw it, they debated after up with the other person, and it sparked a conversation. So maybe these actual things touched 200, 300,000 people. So at this scale, you can do a debate, scalable debate online. So yeah, it's fascinating. All these bullshits that, not bullshits, like reapproaching and doing Cyprus meetings based on Turkish Cypriots or Greek Cypriots, and they played football together, all this stuff. I think with this stuff, we did more than political parties like AGEL did in their entire life, probably. I wish I was not joking.
Okay. So we are at the end. So my last question is the future. What are your plans? You have 3 more years, I believe, in the parliament.
Who knows? Maybe I will quit.
Oh. Any intention to run for the Cyprus politics?
If I had, it was not going to be in this interview. I like politics. Probably I will stay in politics for another 10 years. I think it's an interesting game. I learned a lot of the stuff, and I think I'm useful. Sometimes I'm harmful, but I think overall I'm useful to society with what I'm doing. As a guinea pig, as everything. Future plans. Like, I feel that politics is very important now because we're deciding how we're going to run our societies with the threat of artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence has superpower now. I'm just going to give you an example. What if we had a data center with all the data of our hospitals, with all the people diseases, with all the people blood works, and or with all the cases that all the people that died based on, and we just had a data center and we fed the AI this data. I don't think anyone in the planet is cleverer to draw conclusions based on all this data. And like we can ask simple questions back the AIs. For now, we can ask how we can improve based on the data that we have, the current health system. And it was going to come up with so many innovative ideas that we don't know. Data-driven decisions, which I love, data-driven decisions. Of course, you shouldn't trust blindly all this stuff, but there is a huge factor for, like, Demis Hassabis one, which is actually Cypriot origin, won the Nobel Prize because he developed an AI that developed, figure out protein folding, which it's a huge innovation in biology. So I think there is a lot of room for so many things. Maybe we can reinvent democracy from scratch. Maybe AI is better. Like, to be honest, I trust AI better to run my country than my current president. And I'm not joking. So there is so much power to this stuff. And we need to utilize them well to run our society. Also, there's great threats because, like, so many jobs will be lost. Truck drivers, taxi drivers, now data researchers, I don't know, maybe teachers in the future. Now factory workers, we're going to have robots doing all this stuff. So we are moving to a very interesting and difficult and complicated and scary times. And I think being in politics with everyone thinks that their motivation is good, with good motivation, with the actual wanting to do good things in the world, and not self-motivation for yourself to get power and all this stuff. I think I'm vital to be in this moment, in these positions, because I don't really trust other people, and I don't really trust that we're going to take AI to the right direction. So for me, it's very important to be in politics and be part of this change with AI, how we're going to organize our society. Maybe it's a universal basic income. Maybe it's a lot of questions, a lot of different answers, but yeah.
Okay. Anything you want to add?
No, it was fun. Okay. We did 1 hour and 10 minutes.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you guys for watching until the end.